Okay, here we are. We will do this thing. Try that. See how that goes. Currently live streaming, currently recording. Well, that's pretty cool. So, I see there's some people here. Is there anybody, let me go and, I'm new at this, so I'm just sort of trying it out, seeing how things go. Hey guys, can you hear me? Say something in the chat. Hey, okay, great. Glad to hear it. Well, you can, as far as I know, this should be pretty much open. I don't think I've limited anybody to not being able to talk, but again, I'm new to this. Yeah, that's not it. Oh well. Let's see. Well, anyway, I figured that I'll keep an eye on the chat if anybody has any questions or anything, and if you if you have a question, I'll find a way to bring you into the discussion. But for now, I've got. I kind of wanted to go over a cool tool that that I really like, and it's called approval tests. And really like to use it if I'm doing a, if I've got some legacy code, that can't just can't stay on top of. You got to figure it out. You got to try and make changes to it. You got to basically debug it. And so some years ago, I stumbled across this code here. It's from an old coding retreat. I don't know if you've heard about code retreats, but basically the idea comes from Michael Feathers and he's got a book called Working Effectively with Legacy Code, and he talks about how to do characterization tests. And basically, if I've got some code that's like this, it's kind of messy. You can see there's lots of duplicated code. Is this font large enough for y'all to see? Maybe I should improve that. Let me try making that font just a little bit bigger. Oh, come on. Where are my settings? File, settings, font, editor, font. Let's make it, let's say 14. Yeah, that should probably be good. Okay. And then I guess I'll need to do that for everything. Oh, no, good. We're good. All right. So I've installed this little plugin over here to sort of help me look at the structure of the code. And let me go ahead and show that off real quick. That is plugins. Boom. That is called Code Glance. Actually, this is sort of a remake of it because it's no longer being maintained. But basically, it just gives you a very high overview of what your code structure looks like, so you can see at a glance what what parts of the code are for instance, there's lots of if statements here. This looks like it's got some duplication in there and in here, and so you can quickly get an idea of where you might want to do your work. So let's say we've got this code that looks kind of, I mean, it looks like it's running a game. Well, we've got a game runner, and we can just start figuring out how this thing works. So at this point, I don't even know how it works. I just know that it runs a game. I don't know what this is. You can go away. Okay. Yeah, I don't need you. So we got all this stuff, and it spits out this stuff. Pat now has 6 gold coins. So if I run it again, Chet now has 6 gold coins. So it looks like it has some sort of a random number generator. Why, looky there, we have a random number generator that goes and figures out how to run this game, and it goes through everything. Well, let's see here. So I have a test here. So what I can do, see, I've been playing with it. So what I can do to start fiddling with this is I have a library that I have put on here. That's called the approval tests library. So here, so I've just basically gone and added it. And I'm sharing this window, so I can't really share the what's it called? My browser. Let me go and share my browser here. Boom. Come back here. I say share my screen. I'll just do that. Share the screen, your entire screen. Boom. Okay. And so you can see that there's this tool called approval tests. And it's basically designed to you run your application, and it creates a like a log file. You'll create a log file of the current state, and the approvals will go and verify if anything has changed in the output, and it'll instantly fire up your diff tool, and you can see it's available for a whole bunch of different languages. So so basically what I'd like to do is I've got my game runner here, and that's just a main, and that's basically all we've got, this one main function. So if I want to do a game runner main, I guess I have to pass that. So run that. So it works running that. What I'd like to do is I notice that everything is basically it creates a random number, and then it goes and runs rolling and generating a new random number every time until it finds a winner, and we get a different winner every time. So this one was Chet, and we run it again, and this one was Chet again. Chet's pretty lucky. This one is Pat. Okay, so it looks like you have to have 6 gold coins to win. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I want to lock down this test, and I want to basically replace this random thing with with something I can control. So I don't want to change this if at all possible. So what I'll do is I will create a new and I will call this main2, and I'll just copy everything here into main2. And what I will do here is I will, instead of having args, I'll pass in random rand, and then I'll take that out. So basically I'm passing in a rand. So then I can take this and I can say main2, and I can pass in a new random. And just get rid of all that. And we basically, what did I just do? And me. So basically, it should do the same thing. It should run just like it did before. Because I haven't really changed anything. All I did was, this is kind of called a peel and slice. So I took this random, because this part up here wasn't affected by the random. That's just creating and initializing stuff. This uses the random down here. So I just pass in a random. So I can do that. So then I can go here to my test, and I can call main2 with a random 0. Gotta go and import that. So now when I run it, it should end up with the same person winning every time. See, so there's Sue. And there's Sue. So Chet isn't so lucky anymore. Sue's winning every time. Okay, so basically it looks like we're doing that. So what we can do, just to see how this works, we can go and run it with code coverage and make sure that we're doing everything we need to. And so this game, everything, so this isn't being called because we're not calling it from the test, but that doesn't really matter. And this, we need to go ahead and add that. So the way I do that is coverage test main, I say here. I want to add this class. coverage tab here. So I just go, where is that? I've done this so often. Yeah. Well, where'd my code coverage tab go? Project structure, run anything. Oh well, this is frustrating. This should, I want to add this, the ugly trivia game. I wonder if I can just drag it there. No, I can't. Let's see if anybody who's attending knows what I'm doing. It's better. Okay. I'm glad it's better. Good. So let's see here. We've got, we'll just, I think we go here, right? Boom, edit configurations. This is where I go to, and that's the tester. Code coverage, here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Man. So I'll add a class. I'll add game runner. And then we'll run that again. See, all right, so I got the game. Oh, I wanted to add game. Darn it. This is what makes it fun to do this sort of thing live. So I want to do game runner test game. That's what I'm wanting to add. Silly me. Good. Then I run that. You see that game runner, 83%. And we saw the only thing that's missing is really game runner. The only thing that's missing is this main, which I don't intend to call anyway. And then for game, everything except for this is playable is being called. And these blank lines aren't being called. Well, let's take a look at this. So this print line seems to not be called all the time. It's here. I don't know about these. So why don't we let me do this. Put those separate lines and make sure that they're all being called. So let's run that again. Okay, so see, this one isn't called all the time, and that one's not called all the time. Well, that's really interesting. So let's go back to our test, and let's do that again. Oops. And let's do our check again. We go to our game, and we see that this is still not being called. Well, then let's try 2. Okay, so we called it 3 times, and now it looks like everything is being called here. That one, and this one, and this one. Okay, good. So it looks like we've covered all the different cases we need to make sure that this is being tested. Now I see with my output that it just generates a whole bunch of stuff here. And so if I'm looking in here, I see it's got system out print line everywhere. And that's not really useful. What I want to do to start refactoring this, make sure that I've got it, is I want to add a method here. I'll put it here in the bottom. And we'll call this print line. And we'll pass it a string. And one of the things that the approval test has is this thing called a simple logger. Simple logger. And so what we'll do, and we'll have text. So basically, what we'll now do is system.out.println, we will have it call println. Okay, and just to make sure this works the same way, we will have this do. Here we go. And I see we've got a red underline here. What's our problem? Right here. This says print line pop questions, and that's an object. Okay, so I need to go here, change this to object, and then we'll just say text to string. And now let's run that. Run our game test. So we've got all this stuff printed out, and this has got a date stamp with it. That's interesting. So what we'll do here is we want to capture that all that output. So the cool thing about the simple logger is you get to the bottom and you have there we go. Import that string builder dot. And it doesn't like that because a string buffer. Fine. The string builder, that's okay. And then what we'll do is we'll say, we'll probably go create that log before we start using it. And then we'll have approval dot verify log. What does that do? Basically, we're going to take all of these strings here, and we're going to stuff them into this log, the string buffer. And then at the end, we're going to take that string buffer and we're going to log it, or we're going to verify it. And what approvals is going to do is it's going to see if anything has changed. So if we then run this test, it's going to say, I noticed some differences. Oh, because I've run this already. Oops. So what I will do is, let me go here to my project. See, what it does is it creates this this text file, this received.txt. What I will do is I'm going to remove all of these so you can see what it looks like. And we'll run that again. Now it goes and throws up my diff tool, and it shows me all the things that are different, which is everything because I didn't have the file yet. So what I'll do is I'll just move everything over and I'll save it as approved.txt. You see that it goes and it names this file game runner test, which is the name of my test, .test main, which is the name of the method that's checking it, received.txt, and then it's got the same thing, approved.txt. So if I save this as the approved, and then I run it again, then everything is green. The test passes. This is all part of JUnit. The test passes. I still have the same coverage here, and I don't even know how this program works. So I haven't. The only thing I've done is I've replaced all the print statements with something that I'm logging, and then I save that in a big old text file, and I check to see if I've got it working properly with my approval tests. And I'm not explaining that very well, am I? So basically, the approval test goes and creates this big old text file, which is all of the output that that I've collected by using all the print statements that happen to be already in the application. So I've got all those, and I can go and now I can go through. I know I've got complete code coverage because of what I've just done over here, and I know that I'm on display coverage. Yeah, fine. So we've got all the coverage here. 98% of the lines and 91% of the methods. Well, why would it be only 91% of the methods? Well, we can see that up here, this never gets called. And we know that IntelliJ catches the same thing, so I can delete that. And if I run my test again, you'll see the approval test passes and the unit test passes. And I now have 100% of my game code coverage, which is pretty cool. So that's not what I wanted to see. I want to see this. So does anybody have any questions, concerns, or anything about that? But want to know what's going on with it? So since we're in here, we can look at ways that we can now start refactoring. So I can go in here and I can just start looking through the code and see what is it that's in here that that I might want to look at. Well, first thing, I see I got a misspelling there. I feel better now. I can run my tests, and the approvals will show that I've got that wrong in all the different places. All I did was make a small change, so I can go and all those. Those over here, save it, And then run my test again. And we're green everywhere again. Okay. So with that in mind, when we want to go in and refactor some code, what we'll want to do is, first we'll look for any comments that are useless, and this doesn't seem to have any comments in it, which is good. We look for dead code, which we did already. We took out some dead code. And then we start looking for just simple things that we might clean up, like duplicated code. And there was in here that says this is duplicated code, 13 lines long. So we've got this in here, and it's evidently someplace else. The answer was correct. Current player plus plus. So all this stuff. So it looks like I should be able to take this down to here. So all of this getting out of the penalty box, that looks like it's the same right here. So why don't I take this? I can go and do my refactor and introduce a method. And what does that do? Answer was correct. So it's getting out of penalty box. Is getting out of penalty box. Return winner. It looks like we do a check for winner. Check for winner. Do that. And then I'll say, you want me to do this one too? Yes. Good. So now we are checking for winner. We just went, these automated refactorings are very safe. You can generally depend on them every time, but we'll go ahead and run our test again just to make sure that we didn't break anything. And we didn't. This is good. So, so we check for a winner. What is this part here? It's getting out of, if I'm in the penalty box, it's getting out of penalty box. So basically I check to see, oh, this moves to the next player, right? So we can create a method here. And one thing that's good to do is you see the things that you're going to do regularly. I just do a Control-Alt-M and I can introduce a method. So now I can start working more quickly. And this, I'm going and I will move to next player, or next player turn. Yeah. Go. Oh, look, that's duplicated as well. All right. So that's one of the nice things about having a good tool like IntelliJ is it'll catch all that sort of stuff. So now check for a winner. We see that basically purses. We see did player win, and then current player plus plus. Now move to next player. Now see that's current player plus plus, player size, return true. Well, that's interesting. So this is probably, let's undo that and see if we can go and replace that code. That looks like it's all the same. So, and what was that? Control-Alt-M. So, move to next player. There, we'll replace that one. Replace that one. Look at that. So now we've simplified this code, and we've simplified this other code as well. So this just checks, this prints out some stuff, and then checks to see if I'm in the penalty box and moves to the next player. Did player win? Okay, that looks like it's useful. Purses current player equals 6. So, all right. Don't know what that means. Move to next player. So that looks like that's about as cleaned up. Oh, I haven't run my test yet. Make sure I didn't break anything. And we're all green. Life is good. Now I have some small idea of how this works. So to check for a correct answer, we see if we're in a penalty box. Check for a winner. Otherwise, we're going to move to a, if I'm not getting out of a penalty box, then I'll move to the next player. So let's see here. What if I want to simplify this some more? Getting out of penalty box, move to the next player, check for winner. If I'm getting out of the penalty box, let's check for winner. Not getting out of the penalty. So we're sort of checking the penalty box state there. Are we updating it? I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. I'm going to leave that for now. This looks like another place that we might be able to clean things up. It's mostly print lines, though. So we've got that. So is getting out of penalty boxes true? Places current player, places plus roll, places current player 11, places minus. Well, that looks like that's duplicated. Got our print line current player, new location, current player, print the category is, ask questions. So it looks like this whole thing is duplicated twice. Well, let's see about replacing that. And what does that do? Places current player plus roll. That looks like it that takes a turn. Take turn. Point. Yes. Okay. So if I roll the dice and it's not even, I take a turn. Oh, let's clean that up. Otherwise, so that means I'm getting out of, if it's even, I get out of the penalty box. Otherwise, I don't get out of the penalty box and I don't take a turn. So I only get to take a turn if I'm not in the penalty box. Well, that makes sense. I need to go and run my tests again. Excellent. Very good. So it looks like this is probably the most complex part here. So basically, I'm going to, if the roll, so checked if this would be update your penalty box state, right? Because I'm either going to get out. So if I'm in the penalty box, so get out of the penalty box if I can. How does that sound? It's down. Get out of penalty box if possible. I don't know what this extracted thing is. I use a Vim thing, so should have a method down here for get out of penalty box if possible. Where'd that go? Oh, right there. So So we've now simplified the roll. So if I'm in the penalty box, I'll get out if possible. Otherwise, I'll take a turn. So we've kind of simplified this game pretty well. And I run it. So all I've done here is made a couple of very quick, very easy, most, I guess, just about all of them are automated refactorings. And it's very safe to do. And now I have some idea of how this application works. I don't have a clear idea, but now I've simplified the methods pretty well. I've got some stuff like this that looks kind of ugly. I've got some stuff here that looks kind of ugly. And I noticed that I'm creating 4 different parallel linked lists, which is kind of odd. Let me check, see if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns. The objective is to track the test outputs, like a quick feedback about modifications. Absolutely. Yeah, the whole point here is you want to make sure that any changes that you make are safe, that the code still works the way it did. And whereas if we're writing things fresh, we want to use test-driven development. Well, we kind of want to get as close to that as possible, and we'll just do sort of it. This is very close to test-driven development, maybe even test-validated development. So we have a question here. The replace input is based on Vim, right? Yes. Yeah. I'm a Vim lover. I make no secret. I've been you can see I've been coding for a while since Vim was new, and so I do that. So anyhow, that's sort of my goal is I want to be able to approach code that's unfamiliar and make safe changes in it that if I do it enough, then I can become familiar enough with the code. I didn't have to know how all this stuff worked. I didn't have to know how how it's all structured and everything. I just went through and cleaned up some stuff. So this is probably the most complex thing I've got in here now. Suppose I could break it up some. If is getting out of penalty box, check for winner, otherwise move to the next player. So wonder if that we've got this get out of penalty box if possible. No, that's completely different from here because we'll check for winner. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a little method on this just to make this a little simpler here. So we'll call this, oops, I'll be able to see it. It's getting out of penalty box. Check for a winner. Move to the next player. Getting out of penalty box. So basically, I'm taking a turn and checking for a winner. So this would be, I don't know, I've already got a function called take a turn, right? Yeah, there's take a turn. So why don't I'd like to call this take a turn. So I'm going to go call this roll die because that basically you do, no. So that takes a turn. This is getting out of penalty box. We're either winning or moving to the next player. So we'll just, sorry. We will be move to next player or name winner. Oh, doggone you. Move to next player or declare winner. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's right below. So, that in mind, does anybody have any preference of what I dig into next? Thinking that I will just, I don't like this parallel list. Ooh, the arrays are even worse. What I'd like to do is I've got these places, 6 places in an array. Why don't I create a a a places object that I can use, and let's see how places is used. So we got a players list, we got a places list, a persons list, and everything is 6, which that concerns me. So maybe we can get rid of a magic number. This, we'll rename that can perform. I'm going to give that a name. Refactor. Extract method. Introduce a constant. And I will call this max players. Max players. There we go. And I don't want to use that one. Yeah, max players, that makes more sense there. So now that's even readable down there. So if our current purses of current player goes to the max, then we say that we won. And so interesting. So let's see here. How do we use places here? Yeah, places there. Places how many players is 0. Places current player. And then we move to the next player. Places. And so it looks like there's 12 places. Eleven places. And it goes and subtracts, or 12, so it goes and subtracts it. Oh, maybe it has something to do with this. Why don't we look at this? So current category. So you got pop, science, and sports. That's the little duplication. Maybe if we clean up that duplication, this will make a little more sense. So we go 048, and then 159, 2610. My guess is we could do this here. If places current player equals 0, 1, 2, 3, turn rock. Right? And then 4, 5, 6, and that would be 7. and 8, 9, 10, and this would be 11. So these kind of, there's 4 different sections. Huh? There's science, there's sports, and there's rock. So maybe we could have like an object, a category object. I see we got a current category. And the places goes from 0 to 11. So the places, just a second. So yeah, we could have 0, 4. So let's see here. So if you and call it this num, just because I'm not being creative right now, but it looks like places sub current player divided by, I'm sorry, div 4, I could say, and I can say, okay, I want to take that and I want to, so if it's evenly divisible by 4, so if num 0, and return pop. And if it equals 1, science, and then sports, turn off. And all that, comment that out, and let's go and run our test and see if I'm correct in how I did all that. That worked. So, well, that gives us fewer lines. Does that make it simpler, though? So this places subcurrent player, that looks like something that's used often. Places. So that's an array. How many players? So every time I add a player, okay, so this goes and initializes every place to 0. When I take a turn, it goes to places subcurrent player. I wonder if there's a way we can have places subcurrent player be something that we can consolidate. So if we have like maybe a different object, or maybe we could just have a method, places subcurrent player. So I could have a function called current place that would get the places subcurrent player. Let's try that. That's a small, simple thing that I can do. So I'll take this. And I will get place. That get current place. go. Get current places. That doesn't look like that simplifies things much. And both of those are global. Let's undo that. I don't think that that's a big win. What if I create a places object? Does anybody else have a better idea? No. Okay. So I'm going to create a places object. On my project, I got my runner where here's ugly trivia. Boom. New Java class. I'm going to call it place. So place. So instead of max players, I would create a place, and it will go and, but I need to keep track of the current player. So maybe instead of a place, I would have a player, because if I have a player, then every player would have to keep track of its own place, its own purse, and whether or not it's in a penalty box. That makes a lot more sense. So let's do that. Yeah, thank you. How do I rename that? Shift F6? I thought that's what I typed. Call that player. Okay. And the player would have a place, a purse, and an in penalty box. Int place. Int whoa. Purse and Boolean in penalty box. And so we got that, and we can come down here. We say we added here, boom, boom, and everything is initialized. Oh, and it's got a name too. Thing gets initialized to 0 or false. Okay. String name. And so I'll have a constructor. I do that alt insert. Where's my insert button? There we go. Generate nothing. Layer will say name equals. Well, we just do a constructor. All of these. There we go. I hate it when it does that. Okay. So now we have a player. We can come in here and we say, we'll have an array of players. Have a new array list. Go here, players, new array list, player. We'll say, yeah, and that's all we need. We can probably just comment these out. Come down here and say, player here equals new player. Just say here, players dot add new player, and he's got a player name, 0 and 0 and false. Comment that out. And then here in penalty box. So we'll change that to how do I know what the current player is? Current player. That would be players sub current player. Players dot get current player. Right. I see. So I just go here. Players dot get current player dot is in penalty box. And then I will do that. Create that. Return in penalty box. We've got places. So we can go here. Player, current player equals players dot get current okay, so we can't make it current player. Let's call it this player. I just call it player for that matter. So I'll call this places equals so I'll need a player dot set place and player dot get place plus role. I'm making some big changes now. So I need to go. Oops. Enter. I don't want to rename that. I want to create that. Create the method get place. Right? And so we will return place. And turn it. Okay. Oops. And set place. We're going to do that. Okay. Int I. This will be replace. Place. Replace. We have two related problems. Oh yeah, we're getting to them. All right. Right here. Okay, so that just takes care of that one. And say if layer dot get place is greater than 11, then something like that here. Player dot set place. Player dot get place minus 12. Something just feels stinky about that. And this will not be place's current player. Okay. Player dot place. Penalty box. Players dot get player. Oh goodness, I've run late. So I'm sorry I've run long. I'll keep going as long as people want. Let me see, is there anybody still here? Yeah, y'all are still here. So I'll just keep going and I'll at least finish this quick change. So places current player over 4. Why does it keep changing that to singular? It's doing that for me, and I don't like that. Players dot get current player dot set purse. This is looking ugly. Player dot get purse. Okay. This would be so it looks like I need to go and create that method. The int purse. And then we need the set purse. So that's it's not purse equals purse. Almost done. In penalty box equals true. Okay. That's done. In penalty box equals. Let's rename that. That's bad. There we go. So I see, thank you. Got one more red down here. Purses right here. Um, I don't remember what that was. Versus. Okay. Yep. Players. Get current player. Dot purse. Purse is max players. All right. Then we've got a red up here somewhere. Boom. And that says semicolon expected. Okay. Fine. So let's see if I broke anything. I made a bunch of changes there. Oof. Something failed. What was unhappy? Test that failed. Here we go. No such element exception. Remove first. Science questions that remove first. I didn't mess with any of the questions, I thought. I must have. Players, places, purses. Here's our questions. And last, create rock question. Did I get rid of this? Create rock question. Rock question plus index. Well, that's kind of dumb. But let me see, what did I break here? Get out of penalty box if possible. Take turn. Ask question. Ask question. This is remove first. It says the science question is no such element. Oh, that's not what I want. See, that's why we don't want to make a whole bunch of changes. So let's just following files. Okay. Let's just undo everything. Let's just undo all this stuff. This is where everything goes. Okay, well, let's see here. So we'll just do one thing at a time instead of all of them. Just do places. Doesn't like that for some reason, I guess. Player. Players, don't get current player. Places should be fine. Places still works. No, it doesn't. Did I take it out? Well, that's right, I'm replacing all the places. Okay. The penalty box should be fine. So yeah, this is why you want to go and you need to check in on a regular basis so that you can quickly undo it. So looks like I've gone on quite a bit. Well, tell you what, do y'all have the ability to talk to me? Can you see here? I will just go ahead and invite everybody to the stage here. And then we can chat. Or do you want to, if you prefer to lurk, that's okay too. Because I've already gone on longer than I expected to. I didn't want to keep y'all too long. But yeah, I make mistakes too. And clearly what I did is I tried to take off too big of a bite. I should have just started with just one thing at a time and make a change to that. And now I've gone and created a big old ugly mess. But my point here was to show how you can start refactoring code, even make big refactors, and by using that approval test, I was easily able to lock down the code to make sure that I knew what, if I was making a breaking change, which I was able to find right away. And it only took me a minute or two to add comprehensive code coverage to that code that was otherwise I knew nothing about how it worked. So that's kind of gratifying. If you want to get more information on the approval tests, then just let me know. I don't know if you've gotten my my ebook here. Let me go ahead and see here. Where do I have that? For everybody who attended, I wanted to give you a copy of my ebook. And I think, let's see here, I have lots of, is this it? Nope, 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 nope. Here we go. My low-hanging code smells ebook. So what I'll do is I will put that in the chat. And you can download that from my website. And also, if you want to meet with me directly, here's a link to my Calendly. So you can set up an appointment to talk with me directly, and we can discuss where you're at in your career and how you can move forward. But I think I'll just leave it at that for now. I hope this was useful for y'all. I think in the future I might use a different part of the application so we can talk more easily. But I appreciate y'all coming out, and hope you have a great day. And we'll try this again next week, see how it works. Y'all take care. Thanks, guys. Keep calm and refactor. Bye.